Yo, what's up guys? How's it going? Welcome back to the next E3 vlog, next IRL video if you will. Thank you for the awesome support on the last one and of course all the E3 content. But you might notice I'm now back at home. We're going to do this one a little bit differently because quite frankly the last few days of E3 were so insanely busy. We had meetings with pretty much all the major publishers, checking out loads of different games. And I was running around left, right and centre, and it was my intention to try and vlog every single day individually, but that just wasn't realistic. So instead what I thought I'd do is record some of the highlights from things we got up to, and then just sort of kind of tell you the story from here, and just sort of talk about some of the things that were particular highlights for me, some of the stuff I got to check out, and kind of give you an insight into what goes on behind the scenes when you're trying to work at a show like that. Because E3 is really, really crazy. It's super awesome. It is basically like Christmas for gamers, but at the same time, if you're there from like a business point of view, it's also incredibly busy. You spend time beforehand planning out your schedule. I planned out stuff, meetings with different companies on every single day. You have little gaps in between where you can try and sort of, run and grab food or move from hall to hall, because there's like two major different halls at E3. There's the South and the West, and invariably your meetings are spread between both of those. So you spend a lot of time running back and forth, which is also a massive time sink. So there's a lot of kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And of course, when you're there, you then need to kind of like focus on recording things, getting your equipment set up. And then as soon as you're done, you then need to run off to the next thing. So it gets pretty busy. But talking about a few different things, of course, Nintendo booth is one of those things that at E3, I always love going to the booth because it's just really cool. They typically pick a focus game each year. So last year it was Mario Odyssey. The year before it was Zelda. They do the booth up in a really crazy way. And of course, this year the focus was Smash Brothers. They had pods there for people to take part in the tournament. They had, of course, pods for people to go hands-on with. They had areas we can go and, of course, try different games. And they also have the business booth behind the scenes, which is where we went to do all of our recording, checking out Smash Brothers, Mario Aces, Pokemon Let's Go, etc. So that is a place I always look forward to going to. Massive Nintendo fans, which is cool to kind of chill there, but at the same time, it's also a fun place to be. However, moving on from there, something else really cool we got up to at E3, also something a little bit unexpected. During the time before the show, when I was sort of planning out my schedule, working everything out a few weeks beforehand, I got an email from CD Projekt Red and they were like, hey, do you want to come and check out a presentation for something at E3? Now, of course, that something was Cyberpunk 2077, and oh my gosh, that game looks incredible. I'm not going to speak too much about it in this video because we've actually got a dedicated Cyberpunk video we're going to work on very soon to talk to you guys about it. But we basically went into this area. It was this really cool themed bar. So it was made up to look like something straight out of Cyberpunk. Lots of sort of, cool neon lights, these sort of grungy walls and textures and stuff. And you'll see that in a minute. But then after that, we went into the actual presentation itself and we sat through an hour-long gameplay presentation. And when I tell you, some of the stuff we saw looks unreal. This game, I will be surprised if it comes out this generation. I honestly think it might be one of those ones that hits like in a couple of years' time on next-gen consoles, but honestly, that was really cool. It was definitely a highlight for me because it's something we've seen announced for quite a while now, but it then sort of kind of went into radio silence, so sort of fell off the radar a little bit, and then having a chance to actually go back in and see what they've been working on after all this time was just fantastic. The world looks amazing, the combat, some of the stuff you can get up to, just the general like aesthetic of the game was really, really awesome, and the actual presentation itself was like super intimate. There was only a very small group of people that were there. We got given a little statue of the character from the original poster, but here's a little sample of what it was like to kind of walk into the Cyberpunk area. Next up on the agenda was, of course, Sony, because I did a lot of stuff with Xbox beforehand. This year they decided to go outside of E3, so Xbox and Microsoft had their own venue completely separate to the Staples Center, which was kind of strange because in previous years you often see them as like these big opposing forces. You'll see the Xbox booth side by side with the PlayStation booth, but this year they weren't anywhere to be seen on the show floor because they had their own thing. But Sony went over there, of course. They also have a massive booth. Them, like Sony and Nintendo, dominate a huge space in E3. But then for us, whenever we need to do any work or actually kind of go and capture stuff, they also have their business booth behind the scenes, which is really chill because at E3, when the show floor is so manic, so hectic, there are people everywhere, and it's just hot, it's busy, it's crazy. It's actually quite nice to go into the business booth because they're chill locations, you can get drinks there, and it's air conditioned, and it's just like a nice, relaxed vibe. But when we walked in there were loads of different pods. You had a chance to go and jump straight on, hands-on with Spider-Man, games like Days Gone. There was also the PlayLink stuff, so some of the sort of like mobile things for PlayStation. And they had a series of meeting rooms where we could go and check out presentations for other games. So one of the ones that I sat through was Ghost of Tsushima, and that is really, really cool. It's a game I was looking forward to, and I will say that after I saw it initially demonstrated in the Sony press conference, I wasn't completely sold. Like, I really liked the look of it, but I thought some of the stuff in the press conference, like, it didn't translate too well to me. That might have been because I was watching the press conference on, you know, a laptop in a hotel at 720p because the hotel internet Wi-Fi wasn't very good. But when I saw it again for the second time on a big screen in 4K and I got a chance to actually have a developer walk me through it, then I appreciated it so much more. Like, a lot of the things you saw in there that you thought were cutscenes were actually just gameplay segments shot in different ways. And we also got a chance to see the photo mode for Ghost of Tsushima, which is really cool. You can literally pause at any point in the game, like mid-combat, and it'll freeze everything. And then you can spin around and sort of do this like Matrix-style movement. And the really cool thing about that is, as well, is that the foliage actually moves in the background. So while everything else is frozen, like if you're mid-combat, the blood, the mud, the characters, everything is just frozen. But then in the background, the sort of leaves and stuff still move. So that looks really cool. But yeah, this whole sort of Sony area, pretty chill. Chance to check out quite a few things. Sometimes when you're at E3, you can't record everything directly, so I can't always plug my capture cards in. Other times you have to just shoot over the shoulder. But it still gave us a good chance to check out lots of cool games. It wouldn't be an E3 without a visit to our good friends at Capcom. This year, their Monster Hunter presence wasn't too strong. They did, of course, have Generations Ultimate there. I didn't spend too much time with that because, of course, I've played Double Cross, so I didn't really feel the need to go hands-on with that because I've played it before. But it was still nice to sort of see that there. They had a little section in their booth where you could sort of like sit down on these little like wooden logs and play on the game, run through the little demo. It's a demo that I imagine we'll eventually get. It's kind of ultimately what they show at show floors, and then probably when we get close to launch, they'll probably throw it on the eShop and give you a chance to play that. But we also went inside and played Resident Evil 2. It's kind of annoying because I actually recorded on the first day, the first time going in there, but I formatted my card by accident and I lost some of the footage because there was a funny thing where when we went into the booth, you had a chance to either go directly in and play the game or go left through this sort of like maze. Well, it wasn't really a maze, it was like turn left, turn right, you're in there. But they also had like an actor in there who was dressed up as a zombie to kind of jump out at you. It's still funny because they give you a flashlight to go in there. I don't really like these sort of things. I don't like that kind of stuff. So 2-6 went first and I kind of walked in and I was like, I don't really want to be there. It's really annoying that I don't have the footage because I was kind of being a bit of a coward. I was like, I think I'm going to go back. And I was sort of halfway through the corridor, ready to turn around and be like, no, I'm just going to go through the Wimp's entrance. And then like this policeman just jumped out and I was like, oh, it's not actually that bad. So I kind of made it seem like it was worse for me, but still, wasn't that bad. Went in there, played Resident Evil. It was in a sort of really cool area set up with, you know, again, to sort of look like something out of the game. And then after that, you go into the business booth and you can play games like Monster Hunter again or Mega Man, stuff like that. Also very close by the Capcom booth, we also went over to check out Bandai Namco. They've got a ton of games these days, especially with some of the like anime games and stuff that we're like super looking forward to. They're just publishing like everything left, right and centre, and it's really cool because guys over there are super awesome. They had like a booth on the outside with a load of pods, a load of arcade sticks. You could check out things like Jump Force, you could play My Hero, you could play Soul Calibur, you could play Code Vein. And of course, you can then go inside the business area, and that's where we got to go and do a lot of our recording as well. Now, I will say that definitely one of my highlights from the show is, without question, Jump Force. That game was really cool to play. I played that at the Xbox Showcase. We played it again at Bandai Namco. It's just like, you know, a massive anime fan myself and someone that likes fighting games. Like, it is a really cool mixture, and it's definitely a game that feels great to play. So that one I'm super excited for. A game that I didn't get a chance to play at the show floor, but I am eagerly anticipating, is Code Vein. I played one of the very first sort of demo builds. I think they showed it at Gamescom at the time. Like, the the core is there, like it's a really solid game, but that build back then, the frame rate was a little bit sort of like hit and miss, but this one they've made massive improvements. I saw it being played, it runs really smoothly, it looks incredible, and as someone that likes those sort of Soulsborne type games, it's definitely on my radar, and I'm going to try and get a chance to go hands-on with that. Now that I'm back in England, I might see if I can swing by the office and sort of check it out, because if I can, I want to bring you guys some gameplay on that, because it's definitely improved a hell of a lot since the last time I played it, and it does look super, super solid. So definitely excited for that one. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. Of course, we did lots of other things at E3. We ran to those different booths, but I couldn't necessarily record absolutely everything, but that should at least give you guys an insight into some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I got a chance to bump into a few of you guys at E3, so if you had a chance to say hi, then massive shout out to you guys. It was super awesome to meet you. I will say to anyone, if I'm ever walking around the show, and if ever you're at a show and you see me, definitely don't be afraid to say hi. Sometimes when I'm like on the way somewhere, I might look super serious. I'm not serious. I've just kind of got one of those resting serious faces, so sometimes I'll be like walking, like beelining somewhere, and if ever I walk past you, don't be afraid to be like, hey, what's up? But either way, it was really cool to meet some of you guys. Had a super awesome time at E3, and I was actually really happy with how it worked out this year, because every year we're always trying to sort of cover as many things as we can to bring you guys as much content as possible, and I feel like this year we struck a really good balance. We've recorded loads of things, we put out loads of videos during the week, which you guys showed amazing support on, but we've also got loads more stuff left, so over the next sort of couple of weeks, we'll also be having more stuff to share with you guys then, so you're not plenty of stuff to watch, but for the time being, that was kind of E3. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later.